The next time you merge onto a busy interstate, glance at every badge that flashes past. In just a few short summers, 7 of those familiar nameplates could be nothing more than faded stickers on Craigslist ads. No fresh models, no factory tech support, and no reason for dealers to keep the lights on. It sounds dramatic, yet the evidence hides in plain sight. Quarterly filings that quietly slash research budgets, late-night dealer memos begging for inventory they know will never arrive, and concept cars stamped TBD. For newcomers, that stands for to be determined, but industry veterans read it as don't count on it. Connect those dots and you discover how car companies really die. They stop believing in tomorrow long before the public notices. Chrysler once sold dreams. Fins soaring like jet wings, push-button transmissions, and ad jingles promising a forward look at life. Today, that proud badge balances on one solitary product, the Pacifica minivan, offered in gasoline and plug-in hybrid form. Roughly 109,000 buyers drove a Pacifica home last year, but through the first 6 months of this season, its momentum stalled by nearly 1/5. Toyota's Sienna and Kia's Carnival lure families with built-in streaming hubs and power-sliding doors you can open by wiggling a foot, while Chrysler sticks to the same script it introduced 7 model years ago. The crossover meant to fix everything, the all-electric Airflow, was first teased under a light show ceiling at CES. 2 prototypes later, insiders now call it vaporware. On internal Gantt charts, the project box reads TBD, short for to be determined, yet veterans know it really means frozen until the market forces a miracle. Meanwhile, the Windsor plant in Ontario, once humming around the clock, idles for days as fleet orders shrink. Dealer Hank Larson in Des Moines rewired his chandelier showroom into a warehouse for lifted Ram pickups, confiding that a single minivan cannot service a 7-figure mortgage. Across the country, 30-foot Chrysler pylons come down under midnight cranes, their places taken by cheap LED banners that read, "Buy here, pay here." Elegance does not always die with a crash. Sometimes it drifts away in silence, replaced by floor mats, still smelling of stale popcorn from the finance office. Yet a small but vocal cult still believes the badge can rebound if Stellantis greenlights the rumored Portal microvan, an all-wheel drive EV with swivel seats and pastel-accented bumpers aimed at Gen Z urbanites. Designers inside Auburn Hills quietly model 7-passenger concepts with stowaway e-bikes and rechargeable camping lanterns built into side panels, betting lifestyle gimmicks might rekindle showroom curiosity. They argue that Chrysler, freed from sedan baggage, could reinvent itself as the Apple of van life, selling modular interiors instead of horsepower. But a concept clay buck is not a business case. Without a partner willing to share battery architecture and billions in tooling cash, those sketches risk joining the Airflow and PowerPoint purgatory. For now, the Pacifica soldiers on, its destiny linked to rental lots and rideshare fleets, while the brand's future files linger under a red "On Hold" banner. Mitsubishi's American story once glowed with rally victories and turbocharged coupes. These days, its most famous product is a micro-hatch named Mirage that retails for less than some smartphones cost on the used market. The bargain price should guarantee volume in an affordability crisis, yet the car averages nearly 9 months on the lot. Crash test scores hover at the low end of the chart, and owners grouse online about an interior so thinly padded that door panels flex in a strong breeze. Once 2013's darling, the Outlander plug-in hybrid, still holds a niche crown as the cheapest PV sport utility on sale. But new competition from China and Vietnam undercuts its value story. 40% of Mitsubishi dealers have shuttered since 2019. If you live across the Dakotas, you can drive 3 hours without seeing a single triple diamond sign. A software recall last winter left hundreds of Outlander owners waiting months because their only certified technician moved to a Subaru store one town over. Tokyo trumpets its Momentum 2030 plan: 4 battery electric crossovers, a North America-only pickup, and subscription-based safety updates. Yet leaked slides show the money flowing to Indonesian K-trucks and ASEAN market MPVs instead. Picture the brand as a marionette. The limbs still twitch, but the puppeteer has stepped away to handle a livelier show across the Pacific. Lincoln's contemporary boutiques feel like spa retreats, fragrant cedar walls, velvet rope check-ins, and valet staff who carry your dry cleaning to the lounge. Underneath, the Zen playlist plays a harsher song. The brand brand squeaked out just over 82,000 US sales last year. Compare that with Lexus, which moved nearly 300,000 vehicles, and the scale of the mismatch surfaces. Remember when Lincoln tried to reclaim glory with the Continental? Executives spent more developing its push-button door latches than some rivals allocate to entire platforms. Buyers shrugged, shipments shrank, and the sedan vanished after a few short seasons. All that remains of Lincoln's sedan heritage is the whisper of a once-storied name. Profit today hangs from a single hook, the Navigator, a monument to chrome and stitched leather that weighs more than some studio apartments. Fuel spikes spook its buyers instantly. One viral TikTok last spring showed the SUV hitting 11 miles per gallon on a windy highway run, gathering 2 million scoffs. Ford's internal playbook now calls for folding the next Navigator into the mainstream Expedition line, spinning off Lincoln's last loyal technicians to Ford Pro commercial vans, and dimming those boutique lights before the electricity contract renews. The glass temple may survive, but the altar will celebrate cargo vans and chassis cabs, not Calvin Klein suited crossovers. Infiniti launched in 1989 with artsy television spots showing stones skipping across still water, promising Japanese serenity with German performance. The slogan aged better than the sales curve. In 2019, the marque sold more than 120,000 vehicles in the United States. Last year, it managed barely 58,000. The freefall centers on a single engineering misfire. Engineers hailed the variable compression turbo as a magic bullet that would give V8 acceleration with diesel sipping. In practice, early adopters posted cell phone videos of engine lights and rattling pistons before the second oil change. Facing ballooning warranty claims, Nissan leadership cut Infiniti's model refresh budget by 2/3 and canceled the avant-garde Q Inspiration sedan. A planned Halo coupe, tipped to revive the Skyline legend for electric times, was shuffled onto a shelf labeled Phase 3, meaning someday, maybe. Showrooms once proud of cappuccino bars and hand-crewed leather now serve pod coffee next to laminated service menus. Kevin No, who oversees a Texas franchise, merged half his Infiniti lot with used Rivians because, as he says, it's tough selling performance dreams when the parts backorder sheet runs 12 pages. Customers willing to spend 60 grand gravitate toward Lexus dealerships promising free spa days. Luxury is as much about downtime convenience as horsepower numbers. Hyundai's luxury moonshot began in 2015 with a thunderous drumroll. $8 billion for dedicated platforms, flights for journalists to Sardinia, and gleaming studios that pump citrus aromatherapy into the vents. Reviewers swooned over quilted Napa seats and Lexus quiet cabins. Sales climbed to 75,000 last year, a record high, yet context strikes again. BMW moved nearly 130,000 3 Series sedans alone in the same period. 4 of every 5 Genesis drivers lease on heavy subsidies that hide low residual forecasts calculated by banks still wary of the badge's long-term stickiness. A new 25% tariff on Korea-built cars slammed onto price sheets this spring, adding about $6,000 to most models overnight. Alabama assembly helps the GB70, but flagship sedans and quirky electric hatchbacks still sail across the Pacific. Studio overhead stays merciless, roughly $47,000 each month, just to staff concierge and keep pour-over kettles brewing. California General Manager Alana Kim confesses she spends more time explaining to visitors why Genesis exists than she spends closing deals. Corporate scenario planners now map an exit ramp. By 2028, the badge could merge into Hyundai's signature line. The marble floors replaced by porcelain tile, the espresso machines donated to charity auctions. Acura once captivated young professionals with the original Integra, a rev-happy coupe that topped magazine shootouts. The brand surfed that wave through the 2000s, then lost its voice. Today, Acura trumpets precision-crafted performance. Sales charts show a different story. The bread-and-butter Honda Pilot outsells the premium MDX, even with a 5-digit price gulf. And Acura's sedans now appear mainly in high school reunion parking lots. The new electric ZDX carries Ultium tech, borrowed from General Motors, but insiders whisper the supply deal includes battery modules designed for a model count far higher than Acura can realistically move.
Dealers who hold both franchises admit the math hurts.
They maintain 2 parts inventories, 2 service waiting rooms, and 2 sets of factory audit rules. Yet 90% of walk-ins head straight to the Honda side for a Civic or CR-V. Honda corporate schedules a design reset for 2026. Sharper shoulder lines, augmented HUDs, synthetic sound engine notes for EVs, while hedging with a fallback that reads like a eulogy. If the reset fails, top crossovers will become Honda Elite trims, and the Acura badge will fade into a collector's footnote along with Del Sol and Element. Every car fanatic remembers the first time they heard an Alfa at full chat. The brand trades on romance, red paint glowing like fresh wine, steering that whispers through fingertips, and history linking mil-milia road thumpers to modern Formula One. Unfortunately, romance meets reality at the service desk. Alfa's U.S. network counts only 110 stores. Each sells fewer cars than a healthy Toyota outlet delivers in a single long weekend.
The Giulia Quadrifoglio can lap the Nürburgring in 7:32.
Yet owners joke that the real record is how fast the check engine light appears. Lisa Martinez, who commutes in Los Angeles stop and go, logged 73 service bay days last year, plus 20 extra waiting for an adaptive damping module stuck in customs. Stelvio owners gripe about rear differentials leaking. Tonale launch units suffered software stutters that dropped infotainment screens to black mid-drive. Stellantis must choose: pour euros into endless fixes for a niche, or divert funds to Fiat-based compact EVs that satisfy European fleet carbon targets. Sources say the latter wins. Alfa will not stage a dramatic wave goodbye. The door will simply fail to open one morning, leaving enthusiasts clutching key fobs and memories.
Now that the eulogies are written, here's the survival blueprint.
4 steps, each simple, each worth a chunk of change when badges vanish. Track equity obsessively. If your at-risk car is financed or leased, pull real-time trade metrics every 90 days. The moment wholesale value dips below payoff, action beats regret. Cash buyers can wait, but borrowers should dodge underwater loans like potholes. Stock wear parts now. Air filters, brake pads, wheel speed sensors, even those plastic fasteners that snap off inside fenders. Buy them while supply exists. Stash them in stackable bins. Mechanic forums fill with horror stories about 6-week waits for $2 clips once a plant shutters. Lock dependable coverage before the clock strikes midnight. A robust third-party warranty, underwritten by an A-rated insurer, costs less than one modern transmission module. Is it glamorous? No. It is financial Kevlar when the corporate hotline goes silent. Carry gap protection. Any loan stretching beyond 48 months risks upside-down status if depreciation accelerates. Gap insurance bridges the cliff between actual cash value and the bank's balance, keeping your emergency fund intact when headlines declare a brand defunct. Combined, those steps turn a disappearing emblem from a life-changing crisis into a manageable footnote. Plymouth, Pontiac, Mercury, Saturn, names once on every cul-de-sac, now live only on die-cast shells and cars and coffee nights. Chrysler, Mitsubishi, Lincoln, Infiniti, Genesis, Acura, Alfa Romeo. They're blinking the same warning indicators, only faster and brighter. Which badge fades first? Which upstart, perhaps a Vietnamese EV maker or a Chinese joint venture, swoops in to claim abandoned asphalt? Tell your theory below. Tap like, tap subscribe, hit that bell. The road never stops changing, but with the right intel, you can drive 3 moves ahead of extinction and arrive with your wallet and your passion still intact.